Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen Fraser and I'm the manager of the Hereford Citizens Advice Bureau. Firstly, I'd like to say, if you look on the item on the agenda that introduces me, Citizens Advice is not responsible. We have not contributed to the cost of living crisis. We are contributing to helping with the crisis. So we thought it'd be quite a nice idea to just give you a little overview of what we are and what sort of work we do. So our two key missions: we help people with the problems they face, and we seek to change social policy through our campaigns against unfair practice. A little bit of background: we operate as a network of independent charities. Advice is free, it's independent, it's impartial, and it's totally confidential. And we deliver this in person, online, and by telephone. I don't expect anybody's really interested in when we started, but we actually started on the 4th of September in 1939, operating an advice service out of the back of a horse trailer. Sometimes looking at our offices, you'd think there's not much change there. We support approximately 2,500 locations across England and Wales. The photo you can see is actually of our Worcester office. Worcester and Hereford Citizens Advice are sort of one unit, really. Their huge charitable provision has helped fund Citizens Advice in Hereford and allow us to grow. So last year, nationally, we helped 2.4 million people with one-to-one advice. We speak up for our clients through our research and campaigns work. One of the things we did with Universal Credit is we asked the government to extend the Universal Credit uplift and the suspension of minimum income floor for self-employed workers, and we were successful in that. Following our campaign, the government published new guidance for local authorities on collecting council tax arrears. Over 1.5 million residents are now being better protected from aggressive bailiffs. We also campaigned for better protections for private renters. We helped secure a ban on letting agent fees for tenants, and the government has introduced measures now to tackle rogue landlords, improve protections and redress for renters. Currently, we're looking at the state of some of the social housing rent lets that are in a parlous state of repair, and landlords appear to not be doing too much about it because of funding. You know, they're suffering. We realise that, but we're looking to see how we can work with them. So particularly in Herefordshire, so for the last year, 1st of April to the end of March this year, we helped 3,322 people with individual advice. And alongside our main Hereford service, we have various outreaches. Kinkton is a very popular one, trying to attract clients from the more rural communities. Leominster, biggest market town. We're very, very busy in Leominster, and we are opening a drop-in service in addition to our booked appointments in Leominster in the new year. Bromyard, we have 2 outreaches in Bromyard. One is in the Hope Centre. They've been brilliant hosts to us. We have booked appointments in their lovely family centre. And we're also indebted to Bromley Town Council, who have funded us to open a drop-in session in the town hall offices. So that's live as it goes at the moment. Ledbury is managed by Malvern. We're hoping to get that back at some point because it keeps under one roof. And Ross-on-Wye, we have weekly appointments there as well. We are looking at starting a service here in the Kindle Centre for the people in the South Wye area who find it difficult to get over the river to us there. And we're also looking at Peter Church, which, if you look at the map, it's that last little bit that we haven't infiltrated. So this is how we get the advice, give our advice. People can call us, answer the phone, text in, and we call them back. We have an online contact form, they can email or they can drop in. Currently in Hereford office, there's a drop-in session, all welcome, on a Tuesday morning. After Christmas, we'll be extending that to Wednesday morning. Then looking into the new year, we will probably offer drop-in nearly every morning except for Thursdays. That's training day and volunteer recruitment. So 38 volunteers, including trainees. I gather last knockings we're probably up to about 45 now, and we have full and part-time staff. So this is the difference we made to the local economy in that last year, £1,641,000. And this is in benefits that we've accrued for people by getting them on the right benefits or challenging their benefit decisions. And it's also in debt relief, how much debt we've got written off. So we look at, for each client that comes into us in financial crisis, how can we increase their benefits if they're entitled? How can we help off their debts if that's possible? So we have debt specialists, a team of them that are able to apply to the Financial Conduct Authority for, various remedies. So people come to see us about, these are our common areas. Out of these, benefits and universal credit issues are the biggest, 4,803 issues at that time of counting. It's closely followed by debt. And these are the number of inquiries sort of broken down, sort of where we look at. So benefits is a huge amount, debt and financial. Relationships, we're seeing more of a shift now due to cost of living crisis. There's more families in trouble. It's causing a lot of friction in some households. Sadly, we are advising people on separation. And also, we have people that are coming to us saying we can't afford to separate. We hate each other. We don't want to live in the same house. And we're having to negotiate with the DWP to let those people have their separate universal credit claims because they're living separately but in the same household. Other advice areas include utilities and communication. Well, utilities is really us, helping our clients negotiate with their energy providers, water providers as well, and then communication, their mobile phones, their internet, things like that. Travel and transport, tax, legal, immigration, asylum, and health and community care as well. These are significant numbers of people coming with these problems, but not as much as benefits and debt. So just like to talk about very few little case studies that we've seen recently, and this really is recent. It's not going back to last year's figures. So Katie came to us a few months ago, 28 years old, married and with 4 young children. Husband works, but he's on a low wage. He's not qualified to get a job at a higher wage. He's reluctant to ask his employer for more money or more hours because he thinks he might be sacked. Family was struggling to pay their bills, and sensibly they had prioritised rent, council tax and utility bills over other expenditure. When the washing machine broke down, Katie turned to us for help. So we looked at a very useful leaflet from the Household Support Fund and picked out Hereford Community Foundation to apply to for a grant. And they very, very quickly turned that grant round and enabled Katie and her family to buy a new washing machine. Katie was delighted and sent us letters of thanks, and we passed that on to the HCF. Another reasonably typical, Kevin, aged in his mid-50s, recently released from prison, struggled to furnish his and pay bills for his social housing let. His fridge packed up and he came to us for help. So we checked his benefit entitlements and helped him apply for housing benefit and council tax reduction because he'd not even thought of them. Actually, we applied to the Mothers Union Fund for this, and the nice people we spoke to said, well, why does he just want a fridge? If he's got nothing, let's get him a fridge freezer. So they did that, and Kevin was very happy with that. One of our most recent ones is Zara. She's a single mum, aged 30. she's a mum to 3 children, ranging from 1 to about 9, as I remember. And she's expecting her fourth, sorry for the spelling mistake, 4th child in January. Zara struggled to make ends meet since moving to Hereford from London. She needed money for a cot for her 1-year-old who was sleeping in her bed. She needed a double buggy for the 1-year-old and for the new baby when it comes along, and other essential baby items and new shoes for her other 2 children. So we actually applied to Glasspool for a grant, and they were very kind because they said we're not accepting any more applications. Funding's run out. But given Zara's particular circumstance, they bypassed the system. And they awarded her £388, which is the sum she'd asked for, having priced up the items she needed. Mrs. B, age 91, this was the saddest case, and the advisor who actually spoke to her on the phone cried when they heard her story. She's a widow and she lives alone in a remote part of the county. She had no heating oil and was desperately worried about her rising electricity costs. And she called Citizens Advice, having received a letter from the council about the Household Support Fund, and asked if she might be eligible for a grant. Now, we did a benefit check for her and found she wasn't claiming all the benefits she was entitled to. She'd been underpaid pension credit, but she was also eligible for some housing benefit and council tax reduction. We helped her apply and secured back payments of £1,800. We also applied for help to keep Herefordshire warm and the Herefordshire Community Foundation, and got sufficient funds for her to be able to order her heating oil. So that was a great result for her, but I do worry, you know, what's going to happen next. You know, that £1,800 isn't going to go that far. A few key stats are quite difficult to read because they're blurry, but this is the most recent, from the 1st of April to the end of September. There are some leaflets with it printed outside, and I'm sure we can probably get them emailed round to people that are interested to see. But, you know, again, the top benefit issues are really universal credit, and we're seeing a 50-50-ish split between male and females. And by far the biggest age range is those aged between 56 and 65, I think. I should put my reading glasses on, sorry, but it is available if you'd like to take those figures away with you. And just a little bit of how to contact us. I won't read it all out to you because we'll share the slides. You can share all that out afterwards. So I've finished a couple of minutes early, so if there's anything you want to ask me, please do. Otherwise, we'll pass over to Bobby. Yes.
Hang on. Can you just say who you are and where you're from?
Yep. Sally Jones, oh God, that's loud, from Home Start Herefordshire. I just wanted to pick up on the benefits, the amount of people that don't know, they get universal credit, but are not claiming the council tax benefit and the rent benefit as well. And there's nothing telling them that they can apply for this. I mean, the same mistake happened to my mum, and I was like, it's happening time and time again. So can we feed that back to the government and have something happen about that?
Yes, definitely. That's very much on our radar.
Right.
That we think when people go for universal credit, they should be told.
It should be told.
You don't get everything from universal credit. You have to apply to your local authority for your housing benefit and council tax reduction. So, you know, obviously we're telling people when we can, but that is one of the issues for people who are above working age. So universal credit stops when you reach pension age. So above that age, you may be still eligible for some council tax reduction, you know, single person discount, that sort of thing, and housing benefit. You know, we'd have to look at eligibility, you know.
But in my mum's case, then she didn't realise till years later that she didn't have to pay any council tax because of her illness. And, you know, she'd been paying so much for ages, and that this message just ain't getting through somehow. Something needs to change.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's definitely on our radar. Our research and campaigns team, I've got 10 volunteer advisors in Hereford office that are working on research and campaigns. We're actually having a meeting next week to discuss issues with the DWP, and we'll put that on the agenda
Great.
and see if we can forward it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Krista. I'm a social prescriber for Wargrave, Cantilever and Belmont Doctor Surgeries. I just wanted to ask you about you said if you've got two people living in the same house and they can't afford to split up, and you had gone back to the DWP to ask if they could have their benefits paid to them separately.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been successful with that? Because that's kind of an issue that's
we're working on a test case at the moment, Krista.
Okay.
It takes the DWP some time to respond. What we have to do to challenge a decision is to ask for a mandatory reconsideration of that decision. So that's what we've done in the in this test case that we're looking at the moment. And once we receive that decision, if it's in the negative, we will take them to appeal, and we have a benefits specialist caseworker. She's a paid member of staff, and she does tribunal appeals for welfare benefit cases. At the moment, she's running on something like 92% success rate. So where a mandatory reconsideration at the moment, we're only receiving about 50–60% success rate and asking the DWP to change a decision. Gay Cheeseman is on 92% on tribunal appeals.
Can you feed back to us if you're successful? Because I just think that's a problem that's increasing.
It's a growing problem, Krista. It's a growing problem. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Anyone on Zoom?
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gwen. Thank you.